The psychiatrist of Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, that has helped them through so much of their mental health problems, has this one most important habit that has also helped me so much in my life as well with my mental health.
What is the smallest thing I can do today that will make the biggest difference in your life? And so our number one tiny habit is, before you do anything, before you say anything, before you eat anything, just ask yourself, is this good for my brain or bad for it?
And that number one thing, is this good for my brain health or bad for it? Taking this mindset on board has been absolutely amazing to improve my mental health. I had to identify what are the things that I've been doing that have been harming my brain health and I should stop doing. And one of those things at the top of the list was taking different substances that was really affecting my mind. I have had between 5 to 10 really bad trips. Like, I'm talking super bad, where they've really affected my mental health. There was one time I was living in the States and I was on this like spiritual mission, and I wanted to go to Denver and help out at this Zen Buddhist retreat somewhere in Colorado. And I got there, landed in the airport, my credit cards weren't working, and I just had a little bit of money. I hopped on this bus. Hey, if you're excited to improve your mental health, give this a thumbs up, hit subscribe. This lady, she was a decent amount older than me, good looking, and I was interested in her. We got chatting, and she said she could take me to the place. And I was like, okay, great. So we ended up staying at her friend's place that night. I was there and I had a small smoke of marijuana, and I absolutely flipped out. I thought the cats could hear my thoughts, and I thought she was wanting to have a baby with me. And I was like, man, I just need to leave this place. And I got out of there and I was running past somebody and I was like, hey, how you guys going? Just trying to pretend like I was cool. And they were like, yeah, good, but you're not. And I was like, man, it's the worst thing you could have said to me. And I just got down in the spiral of paranoia, deep, deep anxiety. And I remembered just sitting under this light, under this lamp, and I felt like somebody was trying to take my soul. It was that bad of a trip. And I stayed out pretty much the whole night, just freaking out. And then that happened one or two more times that year, where I smoked some marijuana and I just absolutely freaked out and lost it. And then my mental health just got worse without taking any substances. It was like a dam that just exploded, and taking these different substances was the catalyst that just made this dam explode, and my brain health just was terrible. I had massive amounts of anxiety, obsessive thinking, and I thought I was losing it in my own mind. And it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And looking back at it, I was like, man, if I just didn't take those substances, then I would have had better mental health. Everything happens for a reason. I'm happy now that, I've taken those things and I can learn from them, but I realize, okay, it's like Russian roulette. You got one bullet in the chamber. Taking different substances might be fun, and there might be some, spiritual learnings there, but there's so many other ways to have fun, and so many other ways to grow as a person, grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And for me, it was like I'd have some good trips, but that one bad trip was just sent me down a pathway of really, really struggling. And so why did we do that? Why did I keep going back to taking those different substances? Oh, one thing was confidence. I was seeking confidence, learn more about myself to attract women. I remember taking MDMA and I took too much and I absolutely lost it again, and it took months and months to recover from that. Also with the marijuana, for me, I was trying to understand, why are my friends able to smoke it, but I'm not? Do I need to learn something from marijuana? Is it a good teacher for me? I'm going to keep trying it and see how it goes. And there's so many other teachers. It's like somebody's ally is another person's foe. Somebody's ally that's going to help them may not be the ally for another person. You know, somebody can smoke a lot of marijuana. I've got friends that can smoke a lot and they're fine and they find benefit from it. But for me, I find more benefit in breath work or ice baths or exercise, and that really gets me fired up, feeling amazing and more grounded in my body. Something else that I was doing for my brain health that isn't good was binge drinking. I remember I was in Boston playing soccer there at Boston College, and I had these really bad mental thoughts. It was after I had this experience in Colorado, and I was just having really bad mental health without taking any different substances. And I was trying to escape the reality of my situation, the anxiety, through alcohol. And for brief periods, it would, but the next day was about 3 or 4 times as worse. I'd have way more anxiety. That hangover was just a mental health anxiety bomb. And I've learned I can be a slow learner. I'm trying to be faster. I've learned after multiple times of doing that, binge drinking, waking up the next morning thinking, shit, this anxiety is way worse. What are some other ways that I can find this peace from my own mind, this confidence? Well, there's got to be ways that are good for my brain health and I can find what I am seeking as well. One story, I was in Boston. You know those big 40-ounce beers? Those massive ones? Dangerous. So I was with a couple of friends and we decided to do this like tape up game where I think it's like Edward Scissorhands or something, where you tape your hands with these 2 40 ounces and you've got to finish them. And there's this picture here, which is me with these 40 ounces just trying to escape my own mind. And then I was just super scared, terrified of my mental health and thinking I was losing it. And then the next day rolls around and it's just way worse. Some actionable steps that's really helped me is journaling. It's like a mirror to the mind. You know, you can't see yourself without a mirror. You have to go and look in the mirror and then be able to see yourself, groom, you know, touch up the bed and everything. But the mind, if you're just trying to observe it, meditation is like a mirror. You know, you can observe your own mind. But I find as well, journaling, just writing down my thoughts, writing them down, seeing how everything's going, just letting myself write about whatever. And in those processes, I've figured out, hey, I actually don't want to be going out at night and drinking a lot. You know, I was doing that to look for girls, but there's a lot of other ways that you can find girls. One way I've found really effective is actually just going up really respectfully in the daytime and saying, hey, I thought you looked cute. I wanted to say hello. And it's got great reactions because women, they want to be approached by a man. They want to be approached by a confident man that comes up and says hello. And if you do it in a respectful, congruent, honest way, then you're going to get great feedback. There's so many people just going out at night looking for the opposite sex, drinking a lot, and then feeling like shit the next day. But there's other ways we can find what we're looking for, and it's adapting our lifestyle. Another actionable way you can get out, if you're in a situation now where it's like you're surrounded by people that are taking substances or you're surrounded by people that are drinking, can you find other friend groups as well that you can hang around with, that are going to the gym, that are eating healthy, that are meditating, that are journaling, that are doing things good for their brain health? It's the saying, you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. So look around at your friend group. Who are you hanging around? Are they doing things that are overall positive or negative for their brain health? And can you find another group as well to hang around with that are doing more positive things for the brain health? What are other things that we can do that are good for our brain health? For me, these are the low-hanging fruits. And I think if we pick those juicy, tasty, low-hanging fruits a lot, we're going to improve our overall mental health massively. That's dialing in the sleep, really making sure that you're getting those good 8 hours of sleep. That's exercise, moving the body, moving this vessel, because we haven't been made just to sit for like 10 hours a day. Our ancestors would have been moving around a lot. They were out in nature. They were just living more in nature, taking sun, eating more whole foods. And now we've got an absolute pandemic of mental health. We're so much more inside, not taking as much sun, eating foods that are super processed. And if we can get back to how our ancestors lived and how we've lived for thousands and tens of thousands of years, we're going to see overall better mental health. And those are just 4 simple things of sunshine, exercise, sleep, and food. Getting good food into the body. That's been one of the best things I've done, is really eating more from the earth. You know, we've got all of these man-made factory products that have got E39 and B22 and yellow 46 and monohysodrate glycomorium sakalushka. And what is that? I don't know. I made it up. But there's shit like that in the packaged foods that they're making up. And there's a good rule of thumb that if you don't understand what they've got on the package, then your body's not going to understand it either. Like a tomato, what's the ingredients? Tomato. Then you've got a packet of Doritos. What's the ingredients in Doritos? Corn, oil, B29 8.2, Geramaximal acipitacum, just random shit. And giving ourselves that good, yummy, healthy, fresh food, I think, is crucial. Another actionable step to figure out what's good for your brain health and what's bad for your brain health, for me, has been just listening to my intuition, trusting my inner guidance more. And I saw Jeff Bezos talking about this. This is a company that's worth $2 trillion, one of the richest men in the world. And he's saying that his best decisions has come from using his heart, using his intuition, using his gut. And that was powerful for me, because it's like, okay, here's one of the richest men in the world giving that advice. And if we can use that for our own mental health, hey, because everybody else is doing ayahuasca, should I do ayahuasca? Asking myself, because everybody else is smoking marijuana, should I smoke marijuana? Because everybody else is doing ice baths, should I do ice baths? And tuning in and being like, what's best for me and my body, and going from there. That has been amazing. I don't feel like I need to do ayahuasca or smoke marijuana, but I do have a yearning to do more breath work and do ice baths. And it might be the complete opposite for other people. They might not have this feeling to do ice baths. They might want to do ayahuasca, and that's awesome. It's whatever the person is feeling inside of what they need. So many times, we haven't really been told how to tune into our intuition, but it's powerful, super powerful. And we just get taught in school to repeat things and repetitive learning. So, memorize this, take that information in. What about critical thinking and feeling and intuition? They need a course on that. So if you can take this information on board, it will help your mental health. It will help your mental health, and you will feel better. If you can identify the things and ask yourself more, is this good for my brain health or bad for my brain health? You can do it. Always have hope. Much love.